Welcome back to the X of Swords right here at Comicstorian. This is where we take some of your favorite comic books and we break them down into digestible bites so we can read them dramatically back to you. Ten of Swords is an X-Men storyline that is the first big crossover event in Jonathan Hickman's giant, sprawling X-Men epic. Try saying that 3 times fast. Anyway, the storyline is pretty basic. The X-Men have the Council, which has Apocalypse on it, and Apocalypse has Krakoa, the mutant island, and he's trying to get Arrako to come over and merge with them. Arrako is currently overrun by a bunch of demons and his own children, and they're going to have a giant battle in Otherworld to decide who is going to get both Arrako and Krakoa. It's basically, guys, an X-Men tournament arc. So, since this storyline is 22 issues, we've broken down the individual smaller arcs into smaller videos, and today, we're going to tell you the story of how Wolverine got his sword and proved he was worthy to battle in the tournament. So let's kick it off with Wolverine number 6. The molten pits of hell bubble and they spit, fire leaping from the stones as adamantium claws break through the surface. Earlier, Logan stands before the massive tree-like entity known as the island of Krakoa. The physical manifestation of the island stares at him as Logan speaks. He knows that Krakoa wanted the external gate to Arrako left open. He knows that Krakoa wanted war. He puts on his mask. This place is supposed to be a fresh start for all of us, yet here you are, dragging us back in time. Logan looks at Krakoa. This isn't the first fight that he went into blind. He isn't for losing. And he turns and he walks away. I'm gonna find the Maramasa blade, and I'm gonna make somebody bleed, and I'm gonna win. And I don't think I'm ever going to trust your green ass again. As Wolverine walks away, he thinks back on his past. He knows that part of Lorna's prophecy spoke of him and spoke of the Maramasa blade, the weapon that was once forged for him by the greatest swordsmith in Japan. In the quarry, he finds the Silver Samurai training. The samurai turns to face Logan, not surprised to find his old foe here. You want to know how to find the Maramasa? He states simply, and Wolverine stalks across the arena. He knows that the Silver Samurai doesn't want to tell him where the swordsmith is. He knows that he believes that he should be in the tournament. Logan suddenly launches himself through the air. So I guess I'm gonna have to earn your help by beating it out of you! He snarls, popping his claws. Katana meets claws as the two warriors duel. You have no respect or discipline! It should have been me that was chosen for the battle! The samurai snaps and Logan agrees as he flips over the warrior's back, driving his claws into his flesh. There's no reshuffling the deck! Tell me where it is! Meanwhile, on Arrako, Pestilence and War fly to one of the first towers to fall in the Second Great War. They dismount their monsters entering the Great Tower and they search for one man. One who has been locked away for 100 seasons. He will not be humbled, Pestilence tells his sister. Then we will humble him, War snaps. The pit is beyond mercy for him. He will not escape it lightly. The slayer of my husband does not deserve freedom, unless it finally brings forth the death that he deserves. War tells her brother, but she knows that they will not find a warrior within the pit. They will find somebody broken by time, thinned by starvation, and feeble by boredom. As they reach the edge of the pit, the prison for this man, they hear a clear voice calling up. Ah, dear friends, I assume you've come seeking a favor, Solem calls out. He sits on a bed of pillows, surrounded by food and entertainment as he drinks from a chalice of wine. The two horsemen are shocked, knowing that the prisoner is the one who should be seeking favor, yet he smiles at them again. Many bring me gifts, so I am quite comfortable within my prison. I want for nothing. So what do you want, War? He asks, anger flaring up in War as she sees the man's comfort. You killed my husband! You robbed me of my love and my child of his father! She snaps. It is not my fault that he demanded to fight me, for his so-called honor, he tells them. Solem admits that he is a tender-hearted poet, but he also reminds them that he is a killing machine. Do you remember what I told you, War, when you put me in this hole? I said that you would come back here one day and you would beg for my help. Arrako needs her champion, Solem tells them. So I ask you again, are you here for a favor? Because it won't be easy to convince me to leave this cozy little vacation. He smiles. Pestilence looks down, telling him that Arrako is going to war with Krakoa. The Witch of the Otherworld has drawn her cards and has chosen her 10 swords. She named you, Solem. Solem smiles wide, raising his hands in cheer. Ah, excellent! I'll assume I will fight their greatest warrior then. Nothing less will do, he tells them. The horsemen look down at him, telling him that he'll need a sword, but he shakes his head, reaching beneath the pillows. He pulls free a dagger that War gave him a long time ago to kill himself with. But Pestilence shakes his head, telling Solem that he needs the Muramasa blade. What's a Muramasa, and where do I find it? Solem asks. We have no idea. How long do I have? He questions. 3 days. Pestilence tells him, War glaring at him, asking if he'll accept the challenge. Oh, I accept. Solem tells them, raising his arms, and his shackles fall away. Leaping over their heads, he lands atop the stairs and he begins upwards. See you in the arena, he calls out to them. Meanwhile, Logan finds himself in Tokyo, fighting his way through gangsters and goons. He breaks down every door that needs breaking, and he finds his way to a monastery, searching for the legendary Muramasa. He asks for help from new and old friends alike, and eventually he finds himself in the mountains, shadows stalking his every move. He has learned that something dark has come to the Muramasa. He makes his way up the winding steps to the temple above, lightning crashing in the distance. Logan opens up the doors, weapons lining the walls of the dark chamber beyond, and on the floor in a dark ritual, and behind him, the hands and ninjas flood through the door. Later, in the bowels of a hell, Logan's skeleton pulls itself out of the lava pits of the dark realm as a cursed Muramasa stares at him. Save me, Logan-san, the weaponsmith asks. In the mountain temple, Logan looks down at the weaponsmith in front of him, light swirling, and Logan knows that he is looking into a gateway to hell. The hand continues to creep behind him, and Logan turns, his claws popping with a schnick. The ninjas leap at him, and Logan is shocked to see them fill the room. The horde of ninja charge at Logan, who leaps into the fray with his claws slashing, blades piercing his skin as Logan draws blood from the hand, revealing that they are undead beneath their masks. What have you got yourself caught up into, Muramasa? Wolverine whispers as more of the ninjas pile onto him. He continues to fight, swords sticking out of his torso, until finally he reaches for the gateway to hell. Tumbling through, he falls downwards into the molten pits of lava below, his skin burning off as he pulls himself free, discovering a cursed Muramasa standing at the forge, demons reaching for Logan's skeleton as the swordsmith continues to craft a new blade, the heat of hell acting as his forge. If I am to be a prisoner in this place, at least I can take comfort and pride knowing that there will never be a better blade in existence, Muramasa tells him as he brings his hammer down. Now I am the greatest swordsmith in all the worlds, he continues. Later, Logan's body begins to pull itself back together as he lays in a cell within the bowels of hell. He has discovered the location of the swordsmith, and now he must find the sword and get out. Except he's made a new friend. Well, I'm certainly glad we found each other, even if the accommodations are rather substandard, Solem tells him, turning away from the bars, looking down at Logan's body. I am so curious about you, especially your ability to regenerate. Are you unkillable then? He asks, and even though Logan doesn't answer, Solem sits by him. How about this? While you do your thing, I'll keep us entertained by telling you how I got here. Solem tells him of the story of how he set off from his prison seeking the Muramasa blade. He went to a place where riddles are answered, the Oracle of Arrako. He found the blind woman hunched in a cave, and she turns her head to him, telling him that the answer he seeks comes at a cost. Solem nods, knowing that the Oracle has been trapped in this cave by her sister. Reaching into the bag that he carries, he pulls out a severed head. Will her severed head suffice, or would you like me to fetch the rest of her? He asks with a smile. The Oracle laughs, sticking out her tongue to reveal an eye that looks at Solem. Muramasa is dead, but there's still a way to find him, she tells the warrior, pointing at the dagger that War had given him, the black blade marked with the seal of hell. Anyone bit by that blade will go straight to hell, and hell is where you will find Muramasa. The Oracle tells him, I'm afraid my ego is far too massive to consider suicide, my dear, Solem tells her, as he draws the black dagger. The Oracle gestures to the wall, telling him that the blade is a key that will open up the door to hell. So Solem places the blade into the wall and turns it. As he begins to step through the glowing gate, the Oracle continues to speak. There you will find a mutant made of metal. A mutant who will serve you as a guide to your Muramasa. And with his story finished, Solem looks down at the almost completely healed Logan. So here you are, and here I am. Now take me to my sword, little man. The warrior finishes as Logan sits up with a gasp. Staggering to his feet, popping his claws, he tells Solem that he isn't the only one searching for the blade. Wait, am I hearing you correctly? Will the unkillable champion of Krakoa face off against the unbeatable champion of Arrako? I love the idea, even if I dislike the terms of our engagement. Solem tells him with a smile. Logan tries to cut through the bars to their cell, but Solem explains that they were forged in hellfire. Logan turns sharply, cutting against Solem's chest, but the warrior just smiles, revealing that he doesn't even have a scratch. Adamantium enforced. Think of it like a microfibrous version of chainmail. You can touch it all you like, he says with a smile, while Logan expresses his surprise. Solem holds up the keys to their cell. Shall we be on our way? Muramasa is waiting, he tells Logan, and the two men enter the cell, while Logan demands to know what game Solem is playing at. A deadly one, to be sure, the warrior whispers as he begins to sneak through the halls of hell. They find themselves back at Muramasa's anvil as Logan begins to track the old swordsmith. Continuing to sneak forward, they find themselves looking down at a demonic ceremony. A great demon sitting upon a throne as two of its followers stand before it. We are here to celebrate the union of my right and left hand and my right and right hand. The beast rumbles as he points, summoning Muramasa to bring forth the two swords. The procession of demons raise their own blades, and Muramasa walks among their ranks, his fiery swords clashing against their own steel. He kneels before the demonic ninjas, presenting them with his two finest swords. Two swords? Guess we don't have to kill each other to decide who goes home with the steel. Logan notes, and he turns to find Solem behind him with two of the demon ninjas. I would hate to show up to the wedding underdressed. It's bad form, the warrior smiles. The beast continues its speech, telling the ninjas to consummate their marriage with a clash of steel. So the ninjas all stab Muramasa in the chest, the blades drinking the soul of the swordsmith. Wait, I have something for the happy couple. Solem shouts as he throws his dagger, the dagger plunging into a ninja's throat, killing him. Solem then leaps forward, grabbing the Muramasa blade as it falls, leaping to attack the other ninja. You killed my husband and steal his sword? For this there will be hell to pay! The ninja hisses as their blades clash, the second blade cutting across Solem's chest, drawing blood. Impossible, he whispers as he stares down at the wound, when suddenly Logan is there, knocking the ninja down. Forgot to mention something, tough guy. Muramasa blades can cut through adamantium. The beast suddenly reaches out, snatching Logan from the ground. Solem picks up the second sword, staring at it. I have both katanas. I have killed the groom, stabbed the bride, and could easily abandon you to this demonic wedding party. But I'll admit I'm feeling generous. You helped me get this far after all. The warrior turns to the approaching horde of ninjas, knowing that Logan questions why he would help him when they might face off against each other and the 10 of swords, the contest that is to come. The answer is, I'm a good, fair, generous person. Wanna buy a blade, little man? Logan turns to his potential enemy. What do you want for it? Later, Logan steps through the gate on Krakoa. He has his sword, but it came with a price. He nods at magic as he places the tip of the blade on the seal that Lorna created, causing it to glow. Only time will tell if the blade was worth the cost. And that concludes the Wolverine arc to the 10 of Swords. The story isn't done yet though, folks. We are only 4 issues into the 22-issue story arc, meaning you're gonna have to come back here next Monday to get the next chapter of the 10 of Swords read dramatically by us. And if you enjoy this, let me know down below, because as soon as we're done, we're probably gonna move into Wolverine, and my assumption is you all wanna know what Wolverine's doing outside of this tournament. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for your support. I really do appreciate it. Don't forget to check out our Patreon, patreon.com/Comicstorian, where you get early access to any of the videos that we get done early, along with unedited forms of our podcast, and you're going to get exclusive D&D games there soon. Very soon, our Red Hood and Arsenal game is going to be starting up there first, then going to the YouTube channel. So, I hope you guys are having a great time. I hope you guys enjoyed this Mutant Monday, and I will see you next week right here at the Comicstorian channel.